Hey there, live from the Loft 100 studios in sunny San Diego, California. Big Biz Show's on the air. Good to see you. Speaking of crypto.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to Crypto Arena tomorrow to watch the Lakers.
Oh, are you?
And I didn't know Oklahoma had a team.
The Thunder.
I know. And I watch a lot of basketball.
Yeah, you do.
I knew that Oklahoma had a team, but I just couldn't remember that they had, like, Oklahoma? Oh, yeah.
It still feels kind of new.
It's like the Houston Texans to me, because I still call them the Oilers.
Oilers, exactly,
right?
Yeah.
Right?
For those of us who still...
It's like the St. Louis Rams from the L.A. Rams.
Exactly.
From the Cardinals. Remember? Remember St. Louis Cardinals?
Absolutely.
I'm talking about football.
Jim Hart.
Yeah.
You got it.
Oh, all right. You're the sports guy.
That's
so
right.
You go to Crypto Arena tomorrow. Very interesting. I wonder how long they'll call it that. It's like calling it the 8-track tape arena. If I'm, aren't we getting there? Is it close? Like it's like, hey, fly from MySpace Arena. Like almost.
You're gonna circle back eventually. Eventually.
Almost had it. The Betamax Arena.
Oh my Lord.
Right?
Oh my God. Absolutely.
Right? And
yeah.
so it's almost, I'm not suggesting crypto's gone, but we've lost all our faith in it, at least in the media. Now, I happen to think that the blockchain will change the way we do business across this world in the next 5 years. I believe that digital currency, which we already have, in fact, let's bring Alon Goren up. Alon Goren, a good friend of the program. He's been on the air for a long time with us. Draper Goren Holm. He started as a crowdfunding expert and then went right into blockchain startups and cryptocurrency. Hey, Alon, I've got a theory you and I haven't talked about before. And this is the theory.
Like it.
We're already in a digital world. Does anybody at all have as much cash as they had in their wallet, let's say 10 years ago? No, I got the same $60 I've had since like last April.
Yep.
I mean, unless I'm tipping somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, we're sort of already in a digital world. I always have a hard time understanding why folks are having the tough time grasping digital currency. We already have digital currency. Talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, when I first got into this space and when I would talk about crypto, even pre getting into, doing it as my full-time job, I used to talk about it as this thing that would help people in other countries. Because I would say,
right.
Look, I don't use cash. I get my paycheck deposited right into my bank account. I don't go into the bank.
It's just a number, right? I mean, when is the last time anyone has gone into the bank other than for a purposeful reason? I mean, nobody's going in on Fridays anymore, right? I shouldn't say nobody. Are you
a Friday banker?
Friday banker?
No.
Yeah? Go to the check
way.
cashing place when you pay your...
Oh, maybe. Maybe.
The payday loan?
Trying to get past that.
But Alon, it's interesting because I understand it's not the same thing, but it sort of is. I mean, as soon as we can assign a fiat value to something that's actually credible, right?
Well, that's not the beauty, but the silver lining in what's going on today, right? So as we start losing faith in our own banks and going, what happens if there's a run on my bank?
Right.
You start to understand and appreciate the difference between our sort of digital dollar in the way that it shows up in our Wells Fargo account online versus the actual dollar that's a piece of paper that I can pull out of the bank if I actually need it.
Right.
And that's where I think it starts to get interesting because it used to be this marginal difference in our minds from our normal money system because we would go, oh, that's what they use in that other country where there's a revolution going on.
Right. No,
what happens when you want to get your money?
Great point. It's interesting. There are two things to say. You realize when there was a run on Silicon Valley Bank? Do you know how the run happened? Outgoing wire transfers. What the word I'm looking for? Digital. It was all digital. It was all digital. So they didn't go in there and get cash. Number two, I was explaining this morning about Silicon Valley Bank and about the fact that a lot of the problem was their reserves were in the form of bonds. Bonds have an inverse relationship to interest rates. Interest rates have been going up. Bonds went down, and of course they got caught with their pants on a little bit. One of the things about the blockchain and about digital currency, it's real time. And there's as the bonds were going down, nobody would have to watchdog digital currency or the blockchain to say, hey, your reserves are going in the other direction, you better get a hold on it and shore up your reserves, which is exactly what happened. Had we been using digital currency or blockchain, this wouldn't have happened at all, I would argue, right, Alon?
Yeah, I mean, the protocols that we use online to borrow and lend against have their reserves, their contract, your own deposits and your own withdrawals all there. It's all something that you can view. And in the fractional reserve banking system, it's purposely obfuscated, because if every single person thought that Silicon Valley Bank was doing things wrong, they'd be a lot more scared of what's happening at their bank, because compared to most, they were probably pretty average.
Well, what's interesting is ever since the last week and a half, there's been a bond sell-off. Why do you think? It's not individuals holding bonds. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
It's institutional bondholders. What's next for cryptocurrency? You guys are in favor, then you're not in favor, then you are in favor. Although the ball keeps seeming to move down the field, sometimes faster than other times. Give us an overview, top down, what's happening with cryptocurrency.
Well, I think the beauty of this is that there's a consensus amongst even the people who are pretty bullish about the American or just global financial system in general long term, that we're hitting some hyperinflation, and people are looking at Bitcoin especially, and Ethereum, as not just like, hey, I'm going to buy Bitcoin because it's going to make me money. They're thinking, I'm going to buy Bitcoin because it's going to not lose value, right? Because if you hold dollar, it's losing value.
Sure.
If you buy real estate, it's going to stay with the value, or if inflation goes up, it'll go up with it, right? So these are real assets that you can buy that are very transparent, that hedge against the loss of the value of the dollar.
Sure.
And Bitcoin's price has gone up ever since the banks are starting to collapse.
Are the days of Bitcoin being 4,000% increase from the year before, are those days over? Has the volatility sort of stopped, or is it still yet to come, in your opinion?
I think it's definitely more volatile than what the average person is used to if they're looking at their IRAs or their savings accounts or their retirement accounts. It's definitely much more volatile than that, right? Like yesterday there was a downward swing, I think, of like 3%, and then right back up to the next day, right?
Yeah.
And these things happen very regularly in crypto, especially once you go down the list beyond Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly.
But compared to the early days of Bitcoin, I think it is steadying, and there is enough participation, enough liquidity to keep it somewhat less extreme. But again, there's bank runs, there's news moves at the speed of social media now,
Yeah, right. Totally different ballgame. It is. Yeah. Alon, we need to get you back on the air more, pal. Alon Goren, founding partner at Draper Goren Holm. You see him there. You can go to crowdinvestmentsummit.com. I think that's still live, but Draper Goren Holm is a good website for him. Check it out. Alon puts on summits every year. He's an expert in this. Fantastic guy. And they invest in killer blockchain startups. All right, more Big Biz to come. Stand by.